Okay, good morning. Yesterday, I talked about confidence faith. So since I'm thinking that all of you might have or should have, build up your confidence, So now you have your confidence. So now we go further to how to empower your meditation. So today I would like to talk about the 5 spiritual faculties and the 4 idhipadas. That is the 4 roots to four power. 4 roots to power, and that is to empower your meditation so that you'll be able to go deep. Because first of all, you have to have the confidence first, isn't it? So yesterday I talked about faith, confidence. So to arouse the confidence, how to arouse your confidence in your practice. And because first of all, you have to have the confidence to do it first, isn't it? So the 5 spiritual faculties. The first one is faith. That means confidence, and then energy, and then it come to sati, mindfulness, and then it come to sustain attention. You be able to stay, with the object. You be able to sustain that attention. Because sometimes we cannot sustain, isn't it? Sometimes, sometimes with the breath, a little while, then your mind wander off and you come back. You can't sustain. That is a mindfulness and sustained attention is come together. Because you need to have the mindfulness. When the mindfulness is bright, you'll be able to sustain, stay with the object, long. And then, of course, the 5th one is the wisdom. And the 4 idhipadas, the 4 roots to power, 4 roots to power. That is the first one is you have the will, to sustain on a goal, So that is more like you setting up a goal. You have to have a goal. And then the second one is also energy, and the third one is your mind be able to apply on your goal, apply on the goal, and then the 4th one is to be able to investigate, investigation. So the both 5 spiritual faculties and the 4 idhipadas, this is the 4 roots to power. 4 roots to power. Actually, they are overlaps, and also they complement one another. They have to complement one another. So this will empower your meditation, so that you will be able to go deep with this power, because the 5 spiritual faculties and also the 4 idhipadas, the 4 roots to power. So now I'm going to just explain to you one by one. So the first hindrance, the first spiritual faculties, confidence, I have already explained yesterday, so I'm not going to further to talk about confidence. And then but with the first, because the first spiritual, the first indriya, the first spiritual faculties, and the first 4 roots of power, that is the idhipada. The first one is to setting up goal, and then that is important, because first of all, you have your confidence first, isn't it? Then you start to have to set a goal, because the Buddha said it's important to have goal, to set up goal, to have a goal that yes, this is, because without goal, we sometimes a bit like sometimes the mind need to have this very clear instruction telling this we have to have the aim, isn't it? You have no aim when you meditate, you feel like, where am I going? Oh, it's okay, never mind. Sometimes you say, okay, wander off again, come back, it's fine. But at least this gives your mind like a very clear instruction, giving the mind, set up a goal. But of course, setting up it's good to set up a goal, but also we have to be wise, to have a bit of right understanding how to set up a goal, and not not has to be a more realistic, you know, like not like my goal is to get enlightened today, or I get enlightened, you know, in this 5 days retreat. You know, I remember last time we have one visitor come to the monastery to stay, and then she's setting her goal like, you know, I'm coming to the monastery to stay for 2 weeks. So her goal is within 2 weeks she's going to become a Sotapanna. Because she had read the book, you know, the Buddha talk about 7 days, you know, because the Buddha says 7 days, put away your covetousness. That means there's 5 hindrances is not there, you know. That means then 5 hindrances is not there. That means your mind is really bright, you know. You have no 5 hindrances. Within 7 days you get enlightened. So she herself quite modest, you know, 2 weeks, but at least not in for Arahant, in for only Sotapanna. But because people don't understand, only I come to monastery, I practice Satipatthana, only I will get enlightened. You know, Buddha says 7 days, so I give it a go, 2 weeks, you know, quite modest. So there's like, you have to be understanding. You also understand where we are at, isn't it? We also have to accepting where we at, you know. We have to start with where we at, you know. And I also understand that it's a gradual training, you know. You cannot set overnight. Then you have to set a small, you know, a goal that is more reasonable, you know. It's more attainable, isn't it? And something that is, you know, start with small step first, isn't it? Yeah, you can aim, you can set a goal that, yes, you know, at least I want to not enlightenment, maybe my goal to the first thing I want to achieve is to have jhana. But then that one is a big goal. But within the big goal, you have to start with a small step, isn't it? It's just like it's just like your goal, you know, your weightlifting, your goal is 100 kg, but you don't start with 100 kg. That have a bit of understanding, you know, not something when setting up a goal. Also, you have to have some wisdom, you know, some understanding, and also understand our own strength, where we are at, isn't it? So because the Buddha again and again, he mentioned that it's a gradual training, you know, it will not happen overnight, you know, and the same thing we didn't grow overnight, isn't it? I also didn't grow fat overnight, you know. I grow fat slowly. Last time if people have seen me, I half of this size now. When I was in New Zealand, the lady said to me, "Oh, Ajahn, you're so cute and adorable." I was like, then I was thinking, oh, that is another way to tell someone you are fat. You know, when kids they're chubby, when someone is very chubby, is you're so cute, isn't it? So adorable. Then I say, I learned something. You see, that you don't say someone fat. You say you are so cute and adorable. That means you are fat. Yeah. You know that you set up small goals. So maybe you know, you start with just start with first stage, present moment awareness. Stay with present moment awareness. That is the first step. Then you move on, second step, silent present moment awareness. So what is silent present moment awareness? Silent present moment awareness, that is like you don't give commentary. Like for example, you know, like some people, you know, you've been fully aware, you know, in this moment, and you look at the sky, and then it's beautiful sky, but then you start to give commentary. It's so beautiful. And then actually the moment you put label, you have commentary, actually you're no longer really being with that present moment, and then it's more like become a concept. You know, not like, for example, sometimes we understand, you know, all the talk about the non-self, talk about this Four Noble Truth, and then it seems that we understand, isn't it? But then what we understand is only the concept. We are not truly, really that understand the really seeing, you know, direct seeing with our own, you know. It's not with these physical eyes, we are not directly seeing it. We are not really the direct knowledge, the direct seeing it, but it's only we have an idea, you know, like when we have a menu, you know, there's a description of all the food, you know, but then we haven't tasted it yet, so we haven't tasted it. So then you know, what we understand is still the concept. The concept is only our imagination, maybe this and that, that is not yet. But then at least you have an idea, that's all, And the same thing, like it's just, it's the moment you say, wow, so beautiful, you spoil everything, No, just say, just knowing. The knowing itself, like it's silent, you just know, aware of what's happening. That is the second step. Because very easily we tend to start to analyze. I remember early days when I started to meditate that time. Then I into studying this Abhidhamma, and I did that a little while. Then after a while, I stopped it because I find that my mind become not peaceful because I started to analyze, because you study all the Abhidhamma, all this, how many chitta and all this, then you will started to think, you start to analyze when whatever come out, but actually you are thinking, and then I find it. I said, before that I was quite okay, and I didn't do that, but nowadays because after you studying that, and naturally you start to have this commentary, like you watch football, you have the commentary, but actually you're not really being present. Actually, it's a thinking, it's analyzing, it's a form of thinking. You're not just be with whatever you experience. So we just, whatever we experience, we just knowing, the full awareness, fully aware, knowing what's happening. That is but then I start to analyze, then I have to stop because it's, fortunately, I have enough wisdom to see that, that is not quite okay, I should stop. Then I stop. Then after, even I stop reading in and I stop that, but still, the mind still always wanted to do it, to start to analyze, and it takes me quite a few. Actually, I didn't study long, only a little while only, short period only. Even with that short period, then takes me few months to really drop that, that habit of analyzing, rather than you just meditate, but you start to analyze. For example, sometimes people when they practice and then they feel that there is there's some tightness, or they feel a lot of movement in the stomach. Then you say, this is air element. This is I feel. Then you feel hard. This is hard. This is earth element. That means you are analyzing, you're thinking about it, rather than you are just in that moment experiencing what is happening and knowing what is happening, but you're analyzing, this is what. But then you miss out, you're not really direct experience what is happening. Then when you put the commentary. So then, this is, because first of all, you have to have, that's why it's important you see both the complement one another, because first of all you have to have confidence first. Confidence, and then you set up your goal. When you have confidence, you say, okay, I will aim for this. So it's important. The Buddha says it's also important to set up goal. Why is it so important to set up goal? That is, we come to the second five spiritual faculties, that is energy. Because when you have confidence, you arouse energy. Isn't it? When you have confidence, you inspire, you have energy. And then the second one, the second iddhipada, the second root to power, that's also energy. Because it's important to have goal. Because when you set up a goal, that also arouses energy, isn't it? When you're, for example, some people, I don't know what I'm going doing, like that, like they feel like meaningless. What am I going to do? Like no goal. Because when you have a goal, you have an aim, that you have the energy. I'm going to achieve it, isn't it? That helps you. Setting up goal helps you to arouse the energy, because we need to have the energy. So when we talk about energy, it's not physical energy, it's a mental energy, the mental energy. Because without the mental energy, very difficult to sustain, to stay with the goal. Like all of you know, isn't it? It's not easy, isn't it? It's easy. Just wash your breath. It sounds very easy, but how long you can sustain? isn't it? You cannot sustain, isn't it? That you have to have the power, to keep going. Sometimes like some of the things, at the beginning you have the power. That after that, it won't last long. 3 minutes, no more energy. And then because this one to help to setting up the goal is also helped. The complement one another, because you need to have the inspiration, you have the confidence, then you arouse energy, and you have goal. Like for example, if someone, they said that no goal, I don't know what I'm going to do, what's being alive, like meaningless, like when they have like aimless, like no goal, and then very easily you tend to depressed, isn't it? Nothing, nothing worth for me doing, it's no meaning. Then you tend to drain your mental energy. Especially with negative emotion, you feel sad, you feel frustrated, and that drains lots of mental energy. And that's why this is why sometimes people meditate, they cannot sustain, because not enough power, not enough energy to sustain. That's why the second spiritual faculties and the second iddhipada, the four roots of power, that they are both like arouse energy. So we need to have the energy. So that then come to the third one. The third is a mindfulness and the sustained attention. Mindfulness and sustained attention. Mindfulness is supported by energy, the alertness. Your mind is bright. So mindfulness is just like you have a very bright torch. You'll be able to see. You'll be able to keep going. You'll be able to see your way, because if your mindfulness is weak, it's just like you have a very dim torch. You only see a little bit, you can't even see, maybe you can see me in front a little bit, further you can't see, and then you might bump into a tree, you can't see, because that's why it's important, because then you be able to, because you have the mindfulness, is bright, because it's sustained, is supported by the energy that is alertness, and it's bright. Then you be able to, you can keep going, because you see the way, you know the way, you can sustain, you can keep going. But then if your mindfulness is not strong, you can't keep going, because you can't even see, isn't it? You can't see what is right in front. That's why the two together, the third and the fourth, spiritual faculties, that is the mindfulness and sustained attention, that are together. So with the third iddhipada, that is to the mind be able to apply on the goal, sustain, stay with the goal, and keep going. And that's why it's neat that you can see that then they are complement each other, and give it the power, because your mind be able to really, apply the mind. Be able to apply on the goal and stay with the goal and not wander off easily, because you have the mindfulness, and mindfulness is bright. That's why you need to have that. Then you'll be able to keep going. Because that's why you can see that when you don't have enough your mindfulness is not strong enough, very easily you drift. For example, sometimes when you come to with your breath meditation, sometimes you sit until your mind become more settled, and then your breath, when your mind become more peaceful, and naturally your breath becomes more subtle, isn't it? More subtle. But then if your mindfulness is not strong enough, that's the time you will just go to sleep, then sometimes half sleep, I know some people can sit for a long time, and then actually they're sleeping, they're not really meditating, but it's really nice, it's really, that it's really nice that, in that, like, half sleep, that, but then your mind is not bright, it's very down. So that's why always that if in that state, that means your mindfulness is not strong enough to be able to go to, because your mind is not strong enough, you're unable to, sustain and pay attention to the object that is too subtle. Especially your breath become very subtle, then because your mindfulness is not strong enough, that's why it's very difficult. Then normally it's good that it's no point if you keep pushing. There's a lot of people keep going, keep forcing, and then they start to use willpower to try to force the mind to focus. Then it become counterproductive. Like some people don't even aware of that they sleep for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, they sit like that. I've seen people like that, 2-3 hours, and then they think that the meditation is so deep, and that's, but actually they've been sleeping, and that's like, that some people, they're aware they drift, they drift, but then they try to use willpower to really, oh man, maybe I can't focus. Okay, I use willpower, using too much willpower. Actually, you drain more mental energy, and then you become more tired. And then you get frustrated, and then you get to especially when your mental energy is draining your mental energy. When you have no mental energy, the first thing you feel is frustration, or you feel agitated. You feel irritated when you don't have that. So when you start to feel irritated, that means your energy is gone, no more energy. So that you have to build up again. Then you have to build up your mindfulness. Mindfulness. Sometimes you can just maybe make your breath a little bit coarser. So you have to go, because your mindfulness is not strong enough to go with, to be able to observe the refined object. So you make your meditation object, you go back to the causal object, You can go back to the causal object. So make your breath a little bit, coarser, then you'll be able to observe. And then from the causal object, you build up again. Again, re-establish your mindfulness. You have to do that. But a lot of people just using willpower. Oh, I try to push it. I know we have someone, that kind of like, that's why you need to have patience. Not patience. Anything, when we assemble those furniture, and then sometimes if they can't go in, that means it's you put in the wrong piece. But some people cannot go in, hammer in, and then crack, And this is how people do that, isn't it? Even with meditation, cannot go, okay, I just hammer in, It's just like using willpower, like hammer in. Then you mess the whole thing up, It's not, then you see that cannot, okay, retreat. Not going to force it, because you force it, only make it worse. It's not going to be better. So you cannot force, because this comes naturally. So this is the and then because then you'll be able to stay with the goal, because of the mindfulness when this is strong. There's like mindfulness is like a very bright light. The bright light is supported by, because the energy. That's why you can see the energy is important. That you can see like the sequence, you'll be able to see. Then when then you'll be able to sustain, stay on the go and keep going. And then the last one is the fifth spiritual faculties is wisdom. So there is a wisdom. Then the fourth iddhipada is investigation. There's sometimes when you're stuck, sometimes you're in the bottleneck, net, that a neck that you can't, keep going, but then you don't keep going because you have to check, have to investigate, and this is the investigation itself is come from the wisdom faculties. So you have the wisdom, to check, not just keep, forcing and forcing. So that means there is an obstacle. So when the obstacle means there's something that blocked you, that stopped you. So then you can't go further. So whenever the Buddhists talk about the obstacles, it's always the 5 hindrances. When there's obstacles, it's always one or more of the 5 hindrances. Because when someone in jhana state, when you're in jhana state, your 5 hindrances being temporarily suppressed. Because the 5 hindrances is the one who really block us, that we can't see, then because when you come to complete stillness, the 5 hindrances is not there. Then when the 5 hindrances is there, so you will never attain that state, that jhana state, because the 5 hindrances is there. So that's why then you have to investigate to check whether it's one or more of the 5 hindrances. So what are the 5 hindrances? The 5 hindrances, the first one is desires, craving, desires. So desire is like essential desires, the wanting, sometimes the desires also come from the sense of self. You want to be something, or you come from because the desires always come from our defilements, like hatred and delusion. Hatred and desires always come from delusion. So that is because come from the sense of self. And then the second one is ill will. So when you have very strong desire, that stop you. Especially people want to get enlightened, wanting to get to achieve, attain jhana, the more the harder because the wanting itself, the desire itself, the craving itself is already, your mind is already moving, is not still. Because once you want something, that is excitement, isn't it? When you want something, there is excitement. So that's why you can't, you will never get it if you want it. And it's come from letting go. It's not come from wanting, getting. I remember, this is my friend that we used to practice together when I was a lay person, and she's also become a nun. I mean, in the Burmese tradition, Then I remember that, and then at some stage, she's always very diligent. Like you cannot compete with her the way she practices. Early in the morning when I get up, she already out, and then she's doing walking meditation. She wants to keep herself awake. She'll walk on those stones that keep her wake up. I think she's a little bit like self-modification. And then if she's sleeping, she knock on. If she feels sleepy when she do walking meditation, she will go to the wall and she hit her head so that she keep herself wake up. And then at some stage she says okay, but she have the tendency of using willpower, using force. She have very strong tendency. Even sometimes, even with many advice from many monks, the first thing always tell the meditation master always tell her to relax, relax. But she's not relaxed. She's like this. So I think at some stage somehow. She said that she be able to recollect her past life, that she was a monk before with Ajahn time, and they said, I don't want to reborn again now. This life I'm going to finish off. This life I'm going to get enlightened. So she practiced very, very hard, and then until she become very sick, like terrible headache, because you're forcing too much, and then she got so sick. Then she cannot practice. And then, because it's one thing not to be, because sometimes people say, I do want to be reborn. It's not that, it's still one thing. You wanting not to be is still one thing. People don't see that it's because your wanting is still there. You just do want to be like this, you want to be like that, wanting to be is still one thing. Because of so strong the desire, it really stopping her. Then she can't see that this is an obstacle, this is you have to relax first, Okay, let go, it's fine, I know sometimes it's very easy, sometimes our mouth keep telling ourselves, let go, but actually we can't let go, So we just attach to letting go, but we are not actually let go. Deep down, the desire is still there, the wanting is still there. Of course, it takes time, It's not going so easily, especially if it's become a habit. It takes time, like old habit die hard, isn't it? And then after that, she tried very hard until she's so sick, and take her so long to recover. And then after that, because I already in Australia, then my sister told me that, whenever when she asks any meditation master, the first thing they will tell her, relax, relax, let go. Because sometimes too tight. I've come across someone that's so tight until this lady told me that, she's always very tight. Until when she go for injection, the nurse also have to keep, let go, loosen, loosen, loosen. She's like this, like, when you're so tight, you're holding up, your body is holding out. The same thing when you crave for something, your whole body hold up, isn't it? Imagine it holding up. And then she said, even she told me the nurse told her that it's too tight, I can't, it's difficult even for the nurse to inject, because keep asking her to loosen up your muscles, it's so tight. Then she told me, I'm like, her habit tighten up. So even though you ask her to relax, so her relax is still tight, because she got the habit of, it's tight. Then even though, she thinks that she will relax, but it's not enough. Because if you get into the habit of, you always tighten up, then even though we ask, relax, so your relax is still very tight, So you have to keep relaxing, because we can feel, isn't it, when we relax, actually our mind and our mind is naturally calm down, isn't it, when you relax, you let go. Because the fact that the whole body is holding up, you cannot let go. You just stay like this, and then actually it tighten up. And then I remember I met one lady when I was in Thailand, and she from Singapore, and then she went for this retreat, she told me. And then every day they will announce how many people have nimitta. 80% people have nimitta. And then she was unfortunately didn't fall on the 80%, she fall on the 20%. And she was thinking, she thinks that she's so stupid because it seems that everyone got nimitta, only I don't have nimitta. And then she tried harder, then she got her chest pain, very painful. And then the harder she tried, cannot breathe, like almost a suffocate, like going to, she said, I feel like going to die, cannot breathe. And then she said she have to stop. Then I told her, I said, you meditate is not to get nimitta. The nimitta is come naturally when your mind becomes still, because the nimitta is a reflection of your mind. Like early days when I still lay person, when I first normally some people nimitta is like a picture, some nimitta like smell. So my one is a peppermint smell. So, but then actually, I was advised that no, you just go back to your breath, because it's actually when the nimitta is too complicated, your mind cannot be focused. Then your mind is like diverse, because then rather than keep going with the object, with the your breath, and then you start to enjoy the smell because it's very nice, then you cannot go deep. So the kind of nimitta, some of the nimitta, some people tell me that they have like a picture, some like have a river and things like that. So then that kind of, we have the simple one, so go back, not that kind of nimitta. So that's why you be able to see that this is how, and so strong desire, even someone have be able to. Because even though you be able to recollect your past life, and also it's not the attainment yet, sometimes yes, if someone don't have the strong wisdom faculties, and even they recollect the past life, they still believe that that is a self. Like in the Brahmajala suttas, that the first suttas I read, recommended by Bhante Sujato, and then the Buddha said, like some monks, and they be able to recollect many lives, they've been come back again many lifetimes, and then they believe there is a self, there is a permanent self. That means, it doesn't mean that everyone, not everyone that you be able to recollect past life, you have that letting go, now, I don't want to reborn again. No, isn't it? If someone have very strong, fixed views, and very strong, don't have a strong wisdom faculties, it's very difficult. And then you still believe that's when I read that, I was thinking, wow, I cannot believe, someone we can recollect many past, many lifetimes, past life, many lives, still believe there is a permanent self there. You see, because for this, the Buddha said, for this monk, they think that, you see, I come back again and again. That's why there is self. The permanent self is there. So that's why, that's why that sometimes you need to have the wisdom faculties is so important. The wisdom part of, when someone wisdom faculty is very, very weak, so you're unable. You just like this lady. Obviously, she really don't have a very strong wisdom faculties. It's a bit weak. That's why she keep trying until she's very sick. That's why you need to investigate. So that's the first one. Of course, the second hindrances is ill will. So then is whenever you can't get what you want, of course you get upset, isn't it? So that's why the ill will, So, and anything that, we don't like, or we cannot get what we want, then ill will, have a lot of ill. When you have lots of ill will, also, it's very, how come become peaceful? Like some people, that's why sometimes you have to check, see which part we have to, and then also very important that, we investigate, we check ourselves, and if we see sometimes, to be honest to oneself, that yes, it is there. But sometimes we tend to, to deceive ourselves, we tend to justify, with the defilements we have, rather than okay, we acknowledge that, we accept that. Then we try to work on it, how to improve, how to reduce our defilements. It's not like try to justify that, okay, it's okay, maybe in denying that, And sometimes people can, like for example, sometimes people can see their own defilements, then they start to beat themselves up, thinking they are not good enough. Then it's counterproductive. And you reinforce your defilements, your defilements become stronger. So it's okay. That's why we always encourage, not to carry guilt, not to beat oneself up. Whatever we have done, forgiveness. Practice forgiveness. We'll always forgive ourselves and forgive others. The fact that Angulimala, even though he's a severe killer, he be able to get enlightened because he didn't carry the guilt, because he be able to let go. If you can't let go, and actually we are the one we punish ourselves. We punish ourselves. We are the one who holding on, we punish ourselves. Yes, we have done anything that, it's not right. Then we forgive ourselves and we forgive others. And then that's why for the monastic, every Uposatha day, we have confession. The confession is not to make someone guilty, Of course, we have a lot of course, some of the rules definitely you cannot break. That is serious offense. All the little rules, like we accidentally, like damage a plant, that is a particular rules. Then you have to confess, and then that's it. It's a confessable offense. But other like some of the offense, like you holding more than one ropes or whatever. Actually, we have only one ropes. People think that we have many. I remember when we go to Malaysia, have only one rope, and then raining, got wet, and then cannot wash. I still have to wear it tomorrow. So I remember myself, I remember Chatika. Oh, we have to use so many. We went to BJF, we have to use all wet, and then we have to use all this chair, to open up and dry it. Fan to dry it. Next day wear again, That's why our rope is very light, so that it dry very quickly. So that's, you know, so sometimes we have to quickly, you know, wash it and dry it so that we can wear it. Some people think that we have, no, we have only one rope. That's like, you know, that's like that's only we don't have like more than one ropes in and then like normally because the jacket is because the rope is determined. Then if you have more than that, you have to, you know, when you hold more than you have more than one upper ropes, then you have to confess and forfeit it. Or you got two bowls, and then bowls also we can only allow have one bowl. You have a two, then you have to confess, you have to forfeit it. If you hold money, because then the money have to be forfeited, you know, you forfeited, and then it's also confessed and forfeited. And this kind of like small rules, you know, then actually to clear so that we don't carry that with us, the guilt with us. It's okay, you know. And there is more, the kind of small rules is more like to cultivate, develop your mindfulness. You become more mindful, aware of how we use our faculties, how we deal with our faculties, how, you know, and then, you know, all those, some of those rules, I don't think we will do it. We ever be able to break some of those rules. You are unable, because one of those rules is that you toss over your urine over the wall, and then that's not possible, isn't it? That kind of, you know, some actually, yeah, but only, of course, the base, the serious offense, repeat offense, monks or nuns definitely cannot break. If you break it, you know, if you violate it, you are no longer a monk or nun. So that's only the small, you know, that is more, then actually it's helped you to develop mindfulness. You become more mindful, more aware of, it's part of, and then all those small rules is also help us to be more aware and mindful of our behavior, our conduct. Like the second rule is more on our, like, manners, how you eat, you know, how you sit, because it's not inspiring as a monastic. If you, you know, if you put so much food in your mouth and your chip becomes so big, this, then people say, oh, you see, look at this monastic, so greedy, you know, like as if so many years haven't eat, how many days haven't eat, you know. It's some things is like, it's, you know, it's that, you know, and yeah, so we don't carry the guilt. So sometimes if you see that, forgive yourself, have kindness, compassion towards yourself. So don't get upset with yourself. That, because if you all constantly get upset with yourself, then you increase the second hindrances. You know, is the second one, you know, and then it's very difficult to meditate, and that is the obstacles. So whenever, you know, that is when there is obstacles, it is always, you know, so using the framework of 5 hindrances is always within. It's always either one or more. And then the third one is slot and topper. Sometimes slot and topper, sometimes maybe come from physical, maybe sometimes you don't get enough rest, you know, then that is part of that. Or sometimes people overthinking or oversleep. You know, when you sleep too much, you're more tired, because the mind becomes really down, you know. Because sometimes people have things that they want to deal with, they want to look at it, they tend to put themselves to sleep. So when you go to sleep, you don't have to think about it, you have to look at it. And then that makes you like even no energy, you know, and your mind is really down, don't have the, not bright. And the fourth one is restless, being restless because your mind keep wanting, look for something else. Like that's why it's important. You develop that, like that. Yesterday I talked about you have the gratitude. You really content. So when you're contented, you don't, you know, it's good enough, isn't it? I know one of the very common questions people like to ask. Oh, I meditate. My mind become very peaceful. So what should I do next? So I said, no next. You just keep going, just good enough. Because come from, sometimes the mind is restless. Then restless mind actually that you drain lots of mental energy as well. And then you can't stay. You always want something else. They say it's good, okay, good enough. Even though at the moment I'm not in very deep state, but at least I'm peaceful now. At least I have the opportunity to practice now. At least then actually it will the automatically is happen by itself. When the causes condition is there, things happen. So I think many people try to make themselves peaceful, try to make themselves, the mind becomes still. You can't. The mind still naturally, when the 5 obstacles is not there, the 5 hindrances is not there, And then, of course, the last one is doubt. Doubt, that means that's why when you have the confidence, you inspire yourself, and then the faith, when you arouse, like, for example, keeping precepts, like yesterday I already mentioned about how the arouse, that faith, the confidence in yourself. So that will help you to overcome doubt. Because if doubt, you constantly, not sure, maybe it's constantly you will change, One moment you say, okay, I don't think that is well. Okay, next moment you change, I decide to change my meditation object, change to metta. And then after that, metta little while, no. I think I should practice anapanasati. Okay, I think anapanasati cannot breathe. Keep going, up. But then actually you can never develop, isn't it? You will never establish. You can never go deep because of you are not sure. Because only when you have confidence, you know that, okay, this is the path. I'm heading the right direction. It's just like when they say it's important. They said the sati, the mindfulness and the sustained attention, because of you have the energy, your mind is so bright, you can see the path, this is the way, I can go straight, I can keep going. But then if you don't have mindfulness, you can't even see, you're not sure whether can go, you might bump into a tree or you fall in the cliff, because the mindfulness is not strong, it's not there, and then not clear, then you cannot keep going, That's why, and then because also when we are not sure, there is a lot of confusion. When you have confusion, that means your mind is like very foggy, you can't see, that's why you have confusion. That's why then we have to check, investigate. It's not that you keep going, like you, when you assemble your furniture, can't go in, you have to see whether sometimes the pieces look the same, but they're not the right one, isn't it? Then you do just hammer in. You cannot just hammer, you look back, check, maybe this, maybe I'm restless, because I'm overthinking, when I start on top, I have no mental energy, okay, maybe I worry a lot, Then you just have to find out what really stopping us, what is the obstacles. Because if you keep going, keep forcing out yourself, you're getting nowhere. That is the obstacles, that stop you. That's why whenever there's obstacles, there is always the 5 hindrances. So the first one is desires, ill will, slow and torpor, restlessness, and doubt. So that's why today is that to empower your meditation, that is with the 5 spiritual faculties and the 4 iddhipadas, and they empower your meditation. And then if there is any obstacles, you find that it's difficult, your meditation, that means you have to check, you have to investigate. Then you're always using the framework, that always within one or more of your 5 hindrances. So I offer this for your Dhamma reflections. Any questions or comments? Yes.
Having listened to what you've just said, I go straight into doubt about whether I am seeing what you're saying clearly, and that there are two aspects. What is the difference between a goal and grasping? And how do I get mindfulness if my mindfulness is not strong?
Okay. Yeah. So mindfulness is not strong, and because sometimes it's very difficult. Sometimes we think that we are we don't see that we try to, that the grasping is come from desires. You want something, that's why you grasp it, But if you're not come from that one thing, it is, there's a goal, yes, I want to achieve, But because of the grasping itself, we really stop you, and then also very difficult to become peaceful, and also because of the mindfulness is not strong, you're unable to see that you're grasping, isn't it? This is what you basically, this is what you want to ask, and that's why this is why important that we have to build up, our strength through, apply, practice this present moment awareness. We put into practice in a daily life, not to underestimate every daily life you put into practice, and that helps you. Imagine if you can't even stay, present with the chores that you do, that is more causer than your breath, isn't it? That this is where you train from your daily life, because the work that you do, the chores you do, is much more causer compared to be able to sustain on your breath. Breath is very subtle. Even breath is even more subtle than our physical body feeling and sensation. That's why sometimes we find it very difficult to sustain, to pay attention on breath. I always ask people go back to body contemplation, because body contemplation, the feeling and sensation is a causal object. So you start to build up, develop, establish your mindfulness through a causal object, the easier one, Then that's like even then you go to daily life, then everyday life, everyday life, whether you to train, to develop and establish your present moment awareness through whatever you do. When your mind wander off, you bring your mind back to, again, continue with the chores, whatever you do. That's how, whether you're opening the door, going out, whether you're mindful. Because a lot of people don't see that it's so important. People rush in, rush out, bang, 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 bang. That means lack of mindfulness. You're not mindful, And that is the training. And then this is how slowly, there is no special recipe that, you do once and then you got trained. No, it's just like you need to train. It's just like any, world champion, Olympic champion, how many years they have to train? They're doing one, like the swimmer, how many hours they need to swim for the how many seconds, you train. This is a training. You train in your daily life, more mindful, more aware, opening the door, make sure not to bang it. Then this is how you started to using your everyday work job that to train. That imagine if you can't even stay focused, stay present with the things that you do. Mindfulness on the breath is much more subtle. Breath is much more subtle. And then go to the mental object. The mental object is even more subtle than the breath. Like, sometimes the emotion come out, you'll be able to see it. That it's very difficult to see unless your mindfulness is so strong, so strong. Then only you can do that. That's why we have to train ourselves from a causal object to build up our strength, to develop, establish our mindfulness from a causal object to a more refined object. It's no shortcut. So you apply that in your daily life, and then more aware of your movement. This is how to establish, to develop your awareness. More aware, then it will help to develop your mindfulness. You become more mindful. When your mindfulness is strong, your mind is very sharp. You'll be able to pick up things very quickly. And it takes time. And it's not It's very simple, but it's not that easy, but it is possible. So, and then you can, walking meditation is also good. So when I first started to meditate, I used to walk, So I have to walk at least an hour only. I'd be able to sit 1 hour. Then after that, I'd be able to sit 2 hours. Each time I have to walk and sit, because walking meditation, because you focus, you pay attention on your movement of your leg, because the movement of your leg is a causal object compared to your breath. Breath is the most subtle. So I build up my mindfulness through a causal object until your mindfulness is strong enough to be able to go with a more refined object. So you have to go back to a causal object to build up your mindfulness. Okay? Does that answer your question? No, any more?
Ajahn, for walking meditation, there are some teachers that encourage us to have a mantra. That when you're lifting up one leg, you have a mantra, like these two, and then when you put down, you say, we'll pass. I mean, what's your view about having mantras when walking?
Because when you give mantra, for people find it very difficult to even with the movement, it's also quite difficult. So then actually the mantra itself is to help you to reduce thinking. But it's still thinking, but it minimizes the thinking. But eventually, even the mantra you have to drop. It's just like people find it very difficult to observe breath. So they use, like in Thailand, they use Bhutto. But then if you be able to just observe, no need to have the mantra Bhutto, that eventually you have to drop even the Bhutto, because the Bhutto itself is still, when you Bhutto is still, but it is to minimize the thinking. Like people sometimes wander off, they think a lot, very difficult to focus there. At least, you have something to do, so that until you be able to really stay, then eventually you have to drop. If not, you really can't go deeper. So even with walking meditation, yes, maybe at the beginning you can do left, right. Then after a while, when you feel more settled, more peaceful, you drop. This is it's a training. It's a gradual. Give yourself from coarser to more refined. But a lot of people using force. They think that will be faster, fast. They will achieve faster by using willpower. If like that, everybody got enlightened already, isn't it? You have to. That's why it's also partly, it's important that they have the wisdom, to see what works, what doesn't work. Investigate. Any more questions? Yes.
You said when the causes and conditions are there, things will just happen, which I really like as a bit of an antidote to the willpower and the forcing.
Okay.
How much is it just kind of relinquishing control, and how much of it is effort, or is that just the wisdom you've been discussing?
Because the reason why we cannot see, because of also lack of mindfulness, because it's naturally when your mind is bright, you naturally be able to see. The problem is sometimes we see a little bit and then we try to fill up the rest of the picture. But it's okay. Sometimes the practice is that you just whatever comes up, recognize, acknowledge is there, just acknowledge, and then accept. But sometimes we're not accepting. How come I feel this way? Oh, must be something wrong, maybe this and that. Like shouldn't, we don't come to a place of acceptance, not accepting it. Non-accepting that is also not letting go. Acceptance itself also letting go. It's okay. This is how I feel. Just being honest about how we feel, not live in denial, just recognize, acknowledge, and accept, and forgive, and let go. Just have to keep doing that, keep doing that, keep doing that. Then your mind, your mindfulness will gradually, little by little will build up. And then you will naturally have more and more clarity. When you have more and more clarity, that means your mind become more sharper and sharper. You'll only be able to see more and more. Like some of the things that, like for example, some of the things that you can't see in the past when when we lack of mindfulness. Or now you started to practice, you can see some of the things that you never see it before. But then doesn't mean that it's not there. It's always there, but unable to see that. It's just like it's just like your mind become more like microscopic. You'll be able to see more refined. Like for example, all the germs of the bacteria we can't see, but doesn't mean that it not exist. It's there, but we can't see. We have a physical eyes. The same thing. We have our emotion, our habitual pattern, and what causes us suffering that we keep reinforcing. That because our mind is not refined enough to see. That's what you have to. That's what the practice is. That when your mind becomes refined, you'll be able to see. Like for example, some people have very refined taste bud. They can really differentiate. What year, what kind of or tea. Some people can tell. But for me, I don't have that refined taste bud. You give me tea. It's just tea. I don't care what tea you give me. To me, tastes the same. You can't tell. The same thing is just like your mind. You will be seen naturally as you develop the clarity. When you have the clarity, you see it yourself. Okay. Let's answer your question. That makes sense here. Any more? Okay, last. Okay, one more questions because 9 o'clock. Yes.
Morning, Ajahn.
Okay.
Just in respect to your earlier point when you were talking this morning, you said you need the energy for the meditation.
Uh-huh.
Do you mean energy from the consumption of food to support the body, or do you mean energy from...
No, it's not the physical energy, the mental energy. Because when for example, if our mind always not still, our mind always keep wander off here and thinking here, and that drains mental energy. But if we just stay, just mindful, I explained the first day that you don't move, you stay, but your full awareness, you're aware of what's happening. Like for example, the gatekeeper stay. The gatekeeper don't. One visitor come in, who is this one, and go in. Oh, this visitor out. You follow the visitor out. Then at the end of the day, the gatekeeper very tired, isn't it? Following in. No, if the gatekeeper have full awareness. Mindfulness is wrong. He know every single visitors in and out, even in very detail, till whether it's a female or a male, how they look, how they dress, hairstyle, everything in detail. That kind of we talk about that kind of awareness, that kind of so refined until so detailed. But then the gatekeeper don't have to move; you stay. But you can observe. You observe everything. You knowing everything there, but you're not following. But most of us, we tend to, whatever comes up, we follow. Then that drains our mental energy. But if your mindfulness is strong, that means you don't drain your mental energy. In fact, you build up your mental energy because you stay.
And so the mindfulness is in direct relationship to the ability to conserve the energy.
Yes.
All right, that's great. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you for listening, and so those who want to do a walking meditation, please do so. If you want to continue to sit, please do so, and then Dana lunch is at 11.